I never thought a simple dinner could unravel my entire marriage. But as I stand in our bedroom doorway, watching my husband shove his belongings into a suitcase with cold determination, I realize how wrong I was. My heart pounds so hard I can barely breathe. No matter what I say, no matter how desperately I try to explain, Daniel won't stop. Please, just listen to me. I beg, stepping closer. He doesn't even pause. He grabs another pile of clothes from the dresser, shoving them into his bag without a second glance. I already listened, Mia. I saw enough. His voice is clipped, controlled, but I can hear the anger simmering beneath the surface. I wasn't doing anything wrong. My voice cracks, but it's the truth. At least, I thought it was. I thought meeting my ex for dinner was harmless, a simple, innocent catch-up. But looking at Daniel now, his jaw clenched, his movement stiff, his eyes filled with something between disappointment and heartbreak, I realized how naive that was. It all started with a message I never should have answered. I was at home, scrolling through my phone after a long day, when I saw the notification. A name I hadn't seen in years. Lucas. Hey, stranger, I'm in town for a few days. Would love to catch up. Dinner? I hesitated. Lucas was my ex, but there was no bad blood. Our relationship hadn't ended with a dramatic explosion. Just a slow, inevitable realization that we weren't meant to last. He was charming, reckless, unpredictable, fun, but never stable. Daniel, on the other hand, was everything Lucas wasn't. Steady, loyal, the kind of man who built a life with you, not just memories. So why did I even consider saying yes? Maybe it was nostalgia. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe, deep down, a small part of me wanted to prove something to myself, that I had moved on completely, that seeing Lucas again wouldn't stir up anything. Sure, dinner sounds good. Just catching up, right? I added a casual emoji to keep it light. Of course, just two old friends reminiscing. I should have told Daniel, but I didn't. Instead, I told myself it wasn't important, that he would overthink it, that he might get jealous for no reason. I convinced myself that not mentioning it was a better choice. A harmless white lie. I didn't realize how much that choice would cost me. The restaurant Lucas chose was intimate, too intimate. Soft lighting, candles flickering on every table. The kind of place you'd go for an anniversary, not a platonic reunion. Unease crept up my spine as I slid into my seat, but Lucas, ever the charmer, immediately made me laugh with a joke about how ridiculous we used to be. For the first half hour, everything was innocent enough. We talked about work, old friends, the places we'd traveled since we last saw each other. But then, as the night went on, Lucas leaned in closer, his voice softer, more personal. "You look amazing, Mia," he said suddenly, his eyes lingering on mine in a way that made my stomach tighten. I forced a small laugh, brushing it off. "Thanks. So do you?" He reached across the table, his fingers lightly grazing my wrist. "You know, I still think about it sometimes." That's when I felt it, that heavy, sinking feeling in my gut. This was a mistake. I opened my mouth, ready to set boundaries, to remind him that I was happily married. But then I felt something else. A presence. I turned my head, and my breath caught in my throat. Daniel. He stood near the entrance, his gaze locked onto mine, his expression unreadable. For what felt like forever, he just stared. No yelling, no confrontation. Just silence. And then, before I could even process what was happening, he turned and walked away. I shot up from my seat, so fast my knee banged against the table. My wine glass wobbled, nearly tipping over. "I have to go," I muttered, barely registering the look of confusion on Lucas's face before I grabbed my bag and rushed out of the restaurant. By the time I got home, Daniel was already in the bedroom, throwing clothes into his suitcase. My heart plummeted. "Daniel, please, just let me explain." My voice shook as I stepped closer. He didn't even look at me. "Explain what? That you had a secret dinner with your ex? That you let him touch you?" His voice was eerily calm, but I could hear the hurt beneath it. I swallowed hard. "I should have told you. I know that now, but I wasn't hiding anything. I just didn't want you to be upset over nothing." Daniel let out a bitter laugh. "Nothing? You think what I saw was nothing. He finally turned to face me, his eyes dark with disappointment. I trusted you, Mia, and you sat there, letting him flirt with you like I didn't exist. I opened my mouth to argue, to tell him it wasn't like that, but the words caught in my throat, because deep down, I knew that if the roles were reversed, if I had walked into a restaurant and seen him laughing, leaning in close to his ex, I would have felt the exact same way. It wasn't cheating, I whispered, desperate, but even I could hear how weak it sounded. No, Daniel agreed, but it was betrayal. I flinched. So that's it? You're just leaving? He exhaled sharply, shaking his head as he zipped up his suitcase. I don't know, Mia. I just know I can't stay here tonight. I watched in helpless silence as he grabbed his things and walked to the door. I wanted to stop him. I wanted to beg him to stay, to tell him I'd do anything to fix this. But the truth was, I had already done the damage. And now, I didn't know if I could undo it.